Hello, hello.
Hey,
How's it going? Unfortunately, Steph is probably having some difficulties, and so we'll just wait for him. In the meantime, we will try to provide you some value. Again, hopefully, Steph is on his way right now. So, welcome to this live. Hopefully, Steph can make it. If he can't, well, we'll be sure to schedule it another time with him. But 100% Mark, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Jordan, man. Things have been really good today. Like, just been busy doing my thing as usual. How about you?
Wonderful, wonderful. I had some sales calls with some amazing people today and had some connect calls. So, like my last post was about collaboration and how I didn't collaborate, and now I'm really into the collaboration game and stuff. Um, so, so yeah. Oh yeah, we hear from Steph. So Steph is going to join us right now. Let's see, he'll get into the room right now. So So, how was your day, Mark? Break down the day for me right now.
So for me, like it was obviously I spent a bit of time with you. So spent a bit of time with you, chatting with Jay Lee as well, which is super exciting. Like there's some processes in play right now that's going to be epic in the future. So that's a little something to come. Had a couple of discovery calls and did some client work, to be honest, and then spent some time with the family, spent some time with the boy. So like prioritizing and building the business. So that was
Okay,
me.
awesome, awesome, wonderful, wonderful. S- very, very good. Um, same thing with me. Priority is family, of course, and it's funny that you and me were talking, and we were like really, really. Um, in tune with our family, in tune with what we want to accomplish with our family, and what we want to accomplish in our video, and so on and so forth, right? So um, it's just wonderful to see your progress in this, my friend. We have the staff here. How's it going, my friend?
Hello,
Welcome.
everybody. Hello, how are you guys?
Yeah,
Welcome,
good man.
welcome. How you doing, man?
I'm doing
Really,
very good,
yeah,
very
it's
good.
really
Thank
good to
you.
see you. How are things in Okinawa?
Okinawa, everything is it's pretty good, pretty nice. We still got 20 degrees Celsius,
Oh
which is pretty
man,
nice.
it's nice. It's nice weather in Okinawa there, man.
It is,
Compared
it
to the
is.
rest of the world, right? Winter time.
Freezing here.
So yeah. So Steph, once again, welcome. We got a mind blowing session for you. Steph is going to break down all his process of lead generation and how he's successful and how he's accomplishing all these successes on LinkedIn. He's definitely a LinkedIn influencer, but he influences people for the good. He influences people to make the impact that they need to in order to get these clients, in order to have. Um, Build better and bigger businesses so people can achieve the freedom that they want to achieve, just like Steph, right? Steph has the freedom. He's living in Okinawa. He's just chilling by the beach there, and he has a very successful business. And yeah, so we'd love to hear your backstory on how you got into coaching, my friend.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So, do you want the long story or the short story?
Whatever story you give us, man.
Okay,
It's okay.
okay.
It's your show.
So I really started my marketing journey 6 or 7 years ago when I was attending a lot of self-development workshops, and as I was doing it, I was also learning about marketing in like during on in the workshop. So I accidentally bumped into marketing because I was doing something completely different. I had so many different careers. I couldn't really find my, my path, like what I thought I was really passionate about. So what happened is that I bumped into this lady who had 120,000 followers on Facebook, but never really monetize her audience. So since I was studying marketing, I asked her, "Hey, why don't you let me play with your audience, and so I can, test my strategies and my knowledge, right?" And we ended up making 1 million in 2 years, like the two of us. It was like wild.
Wow,
And from
amazing.
there, other people come to me for marketing assistance. Hey, can you repeat the same program, the same system for me? So I worked for. So by the way, this lady was a coach. She's right now the biggest relationship coach in Italy.
Wow.
And after that, I worked for other coaches, but then kind of like I got a little tired of the B2C space, and I was doing mostly funnel marketing. So I was building funnel, like email marketing systems, landing pages, and then I stopped working for a while, and then slowly I started moving towards the B2B space, and I was really inspired by Elon Musk's biography. I thought when I read the biography, I thought it will be really cool to work with a team where everybody's so focused on the same result, right? Where everybody's like willing to pull all nighters and it's willing to like work long hours to really make it work. So then I got into the B2B space as an employee for a startup based in Singapore. I worked for them for a while, and then I slowly transitioned to freelancing. And now it's like 2 years ago, in September 2022, I launched my own business. I was doing done for you lead gen, so I was actually doing the lead generation for my clients. So creating the messages, doing appointment setting, but I didn't feel that was the kind of service that I wanted to provide to my clients, because like that didn't really resonate or really align with the idea that I had of how I wanted to live my life, right? Because if I did something like that, it would probably be very unlikely that I'll be able to live abroad unless I would, hire somebody to do the appointment setting for me. Because I kind of like I did have to be awake or at my computer when my clients were awake or working, right?
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
The time zone hurdle there. And so I slowly switched to consulting. And after a few months, I switched to consulting and training. And remember, I sold out the first cohort for my program in 6 hours for 5 people, and the second one in the next 48 hours. And I was like, okay, I think this is something that people want. And so
Wow.
I kept going from there.
Amazing, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember you had a post today about that, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and it
yeah.
was
I often talk
amazing. It was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. So Mark is down the same journey too. He kind of does down for you too. So
about
this is going to be interesting for him too
For
because he
sure.
yeah,
wants. Yeah. So
yeah,
awesome, awesome. Well, Steph, let's get right into the value. So there's all this talk about lead gen, right? And of course, there's a difference between outbound and inbound, and everybody has different opinions about it, right?
yeah,
So can you clarify, in your
yeah,
opinion, or what's in stone for you? What is the difference between outbound and inbound leads to
yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah. Are we talking about leads?
Yeah, leads.
Yeah. So uh, that's a really good question, because I have, I guess, my own definition, especially when it comes to LinkedIn, which might be a little bit different to what other people have. So to me, an inbound lead is somebody that uh, to start a conversation with or to convert doesn't really require you to reach out to them first, or yeah, reach out to them first. So if somebody comes to you and say, "Hey, Jordan, I would like to know more about your services because this is my problem," that's an inbound lead.
Hmm.
But I also consider inbound lead. I mean, that's like an probably I didn't put it properly. So that's an inbound lead that doesn't really require outbound. Okay,
Mhm.
that's probably it's better to put it off this way. But I also consider inbound leads people that simply visit your profile or start following you, send you even an empty connection request, because they know who you are. And then let's call it the strategy to go from that conversation or that action that they take to convert them into a client. It's easier, or it's probably in terms of, if you start 100 conversation with people that took whatever action towards your profile. So they commented on one of your posts, they liked one of your posts, they started following you, or they sent you a connection request, or they visited your profile.
Mhm.
It's If you target 100 of those people, you're probably going to have a higher conversion rate versus, or compared, if you target 100 people that don't absolutely know nothing about you, so like strangers that you start a conversation with. So that's for me the difference between inbound and outbound. If somebody takes any sort of action towards your profile or towards your online presence,
Mm.
that's an inbound lead. If you have to reach out to them and they never heard about you before, or they really took no action towards you, that's an outbound lead to me.
I see, I see, I
Mhm.
see. Wow,
100%.
100%. And, I agree with your definition, because it really like lowers the pressure of things. Like,
Mhm.
many people think that an inbound lead is like a person super eager to work with you. Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I want to work with Steph 100%, and they pay you money right on the DM, right?
yeah,
but but yeah, it's like really the process. An inbound lead really takes nurturing too, right? Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Honestly, I don't know if you guys maybe resonate with this, but the people that come to me and say, "Hey, Steph, I want to work with you," they te- tend to they often turn out not to become clients. I don't know if
Mm,
that's something that
yeah.
happens. Like people that are very, very direct, like, "Hey, tell me your prices," or "I want to work with you." I don't have such a high conversion rate for those leads.
Yeah.
But I want to hear your experience as well with this.
Yeah, yeah, like for me it's off and on too, like some of
Mm,
them do and some of them don't, right? Because
Yeah.
it's not a higher conversion rate, because I find that people that talk about price are price focused instead of results based
Mhm.
focused, right? So it's like, they're kind of harder to convert. Um, but yeah, I mean, just as Jasmine Alex always says, the inbound, always inbound is a dream, right? And definitely it
yeah.
does make a difference. So in line, my plan is to focus on inbound
Hmm.
and outbound, and then DM, and then actually conversion, right? To convert strangers. So what are your best strategies, Steph, for
Yeah.
um, converting inbound leads, which
Yeah.
they tend to have a higher conversion rate?
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. For sure, they do. Yeah. Um, yeah. So my strategy is really, let's say if somebody visits my profile, or they send me a connection request, or they start following my profile, what I do, I send them a templated message. That's another factor actually. So cold outreach, you can. I don't use automations. I kind of use templates now. I used to
Mm.
personalize the whole thing, but I use automation now. But sorry, I use templates now, which I personalize manually. Cold outreach requires personalization, whereas warm outreach doesn't.
Mhm.
And that makes a big
Oh.
difference. It's like I can reach out to 10 people. I reach out to 10 people a day, every day, from Monday to Friday. That's like my the core of my outreach strategy. Sometimes I do more, but at least I do 10. Um, what I wanted to say is that, like, time, it's also a factor, because if you're looking to grow a business, you need to have time to, create content, deliver for your clients, and you want to ideally invest as um, as little time as you can on lead generation activities, right? That's the dream, let's say. And what I do, I used to simply ask my inbound leads, hey, was there something about my profile that resonated with you? And don't get me wrong, that's a great strategy that worked really, really well for me. But what I'm doing now, I use what I call this or that strategy. So what I do, I simply ask them, hey, was there are typically people that follow me either start doing it because like you can put whatever, like people that usually blank me, like can be visit my profile, follow me, or send me a connection request, typically are either looking to, and I literally number the options, like option number one, they found my hair funny. So now I use a joke, my long hair funny. And the second one, they're either looking to find the first few clients or scale their business. So I give
Mhm.
them two options
Mhm.
because I find this strategy superior because like I know that it's a little bit more direct, but with the joke I kind of like mitigate the
Mm,
let's call it the directness of my
yeah,
approach.
yeah.
But at the same time, I'm giving them options, and for people, it's really easy to get back to me. Sometimes people get back to me with one, or Steph, it's number two. Or sometimes it's simple, like a simple number. Like I've got so many of those, and that's perfect. Like I can go from there to convert them into a sales call. So I just want to make their job as easy as I can, especially with
100%.
founders and people that are not that they're active on LinkedIn, but they don't invest that much time yet on the platform.
Yeah,
Even though people that become my clients have a certain tend to have invested time on LinkedIn. But
yeah. Awesome stuff.
yeah,
Awesome. So I just want to say for the
yeah,
almost 20 people that are watching right now, if you have any on YouTube and LinkedIn, if you have any question for Steph, please let him know. He'll really get back to you. And not only that, please let us know you're here because Steph has some incredible gifts that he's going to give away. And only on this live. So, I mean, it's going to be mind blowingly value here. So, please let us know you're here. Please let us know where you're tuning in from. Please fire up the chat. So, awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah,
did,
Mark.
did, yeah, go ahead, Mark. Did you have a
Uh,
question?
yeah, absolutely. So on your initial DM, so where you send one for your hair and two for obviously they're looking to find
Yeah.
out more about your services. So what would you reply to the person who goes for number one? Would you then try and build the relationship to convert them to a lead? How would that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So at first, I was actually sending two business focused options. Like number one, are you looking to looking to find your first few clients? Option
Hmm.
number two was you're looking to scale your business. Because like I used the this or that to kind of like pre-validate the leads, right? If they were looking to find the first few clients, I thought they might not be good leads for me, but now I don't think they're not good leads for me because I think my best clients are people who are very successful via in terms of client acquisition via different channels. Might
Hmm.
be Google, might be word of mouth, but they want to establish a presence on LinkedIn and make it their lead generation machine, right? So I don't validate. I don't need to pre-validate the leads anymore. In that regard, I have other ways to do it. Um, but people that say, "Hey, I found your long hair funny," that's completely fine because what I do. I thought that was like the end of the road, right? Like if somebody said that, I was like, okay, so they're probably not interested in my services. But what I do now, I don't see things that way anymore. What I do, I always have the same approach when I do appointment setting. When I reply to the first message to appointment setting, which is basically the process of going from whatever reply you get to a sales call, to scheduling a sales call, for
Hmm.
those that might not be familiar with the term. So, what I do, I acknowledge whatever they said and say, hey, also, I knew it was the hair. Like, I make another joke, like, I knew it was the hair. It's always the hair, something like that. And then I give context and I give context. I give what I say. I give hope, and then I ask a question. So, for example, if they say, "Hey, Steph, yeah, it was the hair." I was like, "Oh, I knew it was the hair." And then, "Hey, by the way, I noticed." I don't use the word "by the way," but I go to their profile and I notice something. I try to find something that I can use to give context. For example, I see that you're in the lead gen space too. Or if they have very good interaction, I say, "Hey, I see that you're also in the lead gen and you're crushing it with interaction. With interaction, congrats. How are things?" And then I ask the next question that can be, "Do you have any particular goal in terms of growth, or sometimes I'm less direct, which is, I see that you're very congrats with interaction. How are things going with LinkedIn?" And if I think that that's, for example, it's a good demographic, it's a good, sorry, industry that has a lot of opportunities on LinkedIn, or for whatever other reason, I give hope. So, for example, if there are, "Hey, I see that you're in the lead gen space. There are huge opportunities for lead gen in that industry, right? Maybe they do lead
Mm-hmm.
gen for, I don't know, for coaches, right? Because I do it. I know there's like really good opportunities, or they work with AI. Those industries are like it's easier than probably other industries on LinkedIn to generate clients. So I give hope, and then I ask them a question to move the conversation forward. So I still like whether nowadays if they reply to, if they say that they're started following me because they're looking to grow their presence of LinkedIn, or they want to scale their business through LinkedIn. The only difference that I have with my approach is that I ask a more direct question. Instead of asking, "Hey, I see that you're crushing it with interaction. How are things on LinkedIn?" I might simply ask, "Hey, what is your goal in terms of monthly revenue?" So I can be that more direct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
good.
Amazing.
Absolutely. And plus, I feel, Steph, that your reputation on LinkedIn is like precedes you, right? It's like you're a well-known lead generation expert, and having this more direct approach would probably help you because
Mhm.
you already established like a reputation of being like a awesome guy on LinkedIn, right? With tremendous results for his clients, right? And so yeah, uh, like I always say, uh, it doesn't hurt to be a little bit direct, right? I mean,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get the ball moving, because sometimes they're thinking, they're like, oh, I don't want to ask for help because I'm shy, but then you provide them guidance, and then okay,
yeah,
they
yeah.
they just let you have it, right? So okay, okay, so we have a comment here. It says, "Hi, Mark and Steph. I've been hearing from India. Got got to know many things I could implement in work." Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Steph really knows what he's doing. He's awesome. And we have good to see you, Mark Ramsey,
Hi, Gracie.
and Steph,
Hi, Gracie.
and hey, Gracie, how's it going? And we got Royce, two of my favorite creators. Three of your favorite creators are right now, Royce. so, very good stuff. Excellent. So that's lead generation, right? Obviously, a lot of people have like they find you talk about DMs a lot, right? And you're going to get into your like things that you're going to share later on that have to deal with all of these things. So people have problems with DMs with relating first, what to say, and principally the business pivot. I know that you shared some tips, but principally like to go to like friendly conversation to the business pivot, right? A- and I guess your way kind of like eliminates that in the first place, right? So um, so really comparing your old methodology with this new methodology, um, why do you think it works better for you?
Yeah, I think it works better because let's say if somebody says option number two, I only need one more message to before I can schedule a call. Um, and also because I get a higher reply rate. So in terms of, I see that there's a question.
Yeah. Okay. A question here. Okay.
No, I see.
Yeah.
Go
I
on.
don't. I
Okay,
don't see a
I keep
question.
going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep on
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. Yeah, it simply makes my process easier and faster. I get a higher response rate because like people don't have to. And also, when you are asking an open-ended question, first of all, people have to think. So sometimes it's a little like painful for them to, come up with an answer, and they have to
Mm.
think, and they always tend to go towards the safer reply they could ever get, like I like your design, or I like what you have to say, which is completely fine. So the signals that you want to see when you are getting a reply on LinkedIn is are either somebody likes you, like say, hey, I like your content, or I like whatever, something about your online persona, or you want to have people that are willing to open up with you. So say, hey, Steph, I have a problem with, like things are not going that well. So if somebody's like, hey, Steph, things are going great, you don't need to. There's really no way, no need to keep pushing the conversation. Like I end the conversation in of course, in an elegant way. I just like, hey, okay, thank you, bye. No, just like I try to find a conclusion to that conversation, because I mean, there is no point for me pushing further.
Yeah. Exactly. Mhm.
But this very superior. I find it superior because like sometimes it gives me. Most of the times I can go from the first reply to a sales call in two more messages. Sorry, in yeah, two more messages. So one, the first reply, I still send them another message to keep validating them, and then I pivot to a sales call right away.
Mhm. Awesome.
Hmm.
And sometimes with cold outreach, or when they reply, it's for example about my hair, I might have an extra message there where maybe I ask them, hey, how are things going on LinkedIn? Say, hey, this and this is, like it's not going that well, or I have this goal, but I don't really, my lead gen might need some work. I get a lot of that.
Mhm.
And I might still ask them another questions like, hey, what have you been trying so far? Also, because uh, I, I want to jump on a call with people that are at least that I believe can be a potential client for me. Like I want to validate them a little bit further, and I do have a system for closing clients that consists of two sales calls. I used to have one. I have two now. So I have one. It's very quick, 10-15 minutes, where I pre-validate the lead,
Mm.
and makes it a little bit more natural for me, because I don't need to invest then 30-45 minutes in
Mm.
understanding if the lead has a budget, or it can be a potential fit, where
Hmm.
with this strategy I can like validate in 10 minutes.
Awesome.
um yeah, I feel it's better for me. I used to have only one sales call, but I find this way that sits better with me, at least. I know
Yeah.
some people do, and that's completely fine, but just for the sake of what I do, that's not something that I'm planning to
Awesome.
do anymore.
Good
I
job.
hope I did answer your question.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, you did.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, so a little bit of a follow-up question on that, Steph, if that's okay. So, say
Yeah,
you're a brand new creator around here, because there could be someone in the audience who hasn't got the experience that you've got. They're starting off on LinkedIn. Do you suggest that they use this DM kind of like conversation strategy from the beginning, or should they be nurturing a relationship first with the client? Like,
yeah,
how would that work for someone who doesn't have
yeah.
proof and doesn't have concept and doesn't have those kind of things?
That's a really great point. Yeah, you should. So once, let's call it, once your profile is optimized, and maybe you have, let's say, 2 or 3 pieces of content,
Hmm.
I would say you can start. So within week one, you should start doing outreach, because like especially right now, when you have right now that the reach has decreased, right, for everybody on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
The so you have to kind of like to make the best out of every opportunity the LinkedIn gives you, and one of them is definitely outreach, like the capability of being able to reach out to maximum you can do 20 a day. 20 strangers that are potential clients, but that's huge. Like qualified, like you can pre-validate them, right? Because like you can see what they do, you can see how many years they have been working in the same position, you can see their position. So that's huge, and you have to get the best out of it. And yes, so because even if you, let's call it, you send an empty connection request, right? It's something that I don't recommend, but you can definitely do it. um, Even if you do that, there are people that might not see might just like accept your connection request, might not interact with your profile, might not even check who you are,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
then content can reach out to them, right? Because like you post content every day, every week, whatever that is, and maybe at some point they'll see your content and they might turn into leads. They might, maybe when they send them a connection, like I had a lead like that, that I had a sales call
I'll be back,
with
guys. One sec.
somebody.
No problem.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. Somebody who first I reached out to around June, like so 6 months ago roughly, and it never got back to my connection request.
Yeah.
And then he saw my content and he reached out, "Hey Steph, I need your support with this." But just because I sent him the connection request, he was in my network and he was able to keep seeing my content, and he became
Yeah.
a, I don't know if it's going to become a client, but
Yeah, amazing. I love it when that happens. Like, le- okay, so like w- along those lines, how do you, let's say if we all have those leads that are asked about our services, and maybe our profile brought them in, right? And they haven't really been exposed to our content because they don't know a lot about us, and they're still asking about our services. And so how do you maybe like wait until they browse your content, or do you just send them a DM? Like how do you maneuver that kind of situation?
when somebody, sorry, I just want to make
Yeah,
sure I got it right.
yeah,
When somebody accept my connection request but they never reply, is that
yeah,
what you said?
yeah. Like when someone accepts your connection request, they they take a look at your profile, right?
Hmm.
And they never looked at your content, but they kind of like want to know more about your services. Uh, do you like wait? Do you try to expose them to your content, or do you just like
Uh,
DM them right away?
yeah. No, I'm currently not. So the only way I don't reach out to people who don't get back to my connection request or
Okay,
my messages.
okay,
My messages I do, but my connection requests I don't. So whenever somebody gets back to me, I star them. You know, you can star people on LinkedIn. Like it's a mark that you
yeah,
can put for just kind of like to keep track of
yeah,
whoever are your starred leads. So it's easier to find them. But I only start them when they get back to me once and they are potential
okay,
leads. So if they
okay,
forget to
I see.
reply to me once a week, I typically go through my starred
Mm,
profiles and I reach out to them. But
okay,
if somebody never gets back to me, I typically don't send them another message
mm,
unless they visit my profile after some times or they comment on my stuff and I
okay,
might simply send them, "Hey, thank you so much for
cool.
commenting." So sometimes they see your message and they see the previous message that they never get back to, and they're like, "Hey Steph, oh absolutely, my pleasure, and by the way, thank you, sorry for not getting back to you earlier," right? So that's
Yeah,
a way to do it.
awesome.
Or when they visit my profile, "Hey, thank you so much for visiting my profile," and again they might kind of like ignite or trigger, sorry, the same response from them.
Yep.
That's
So yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I do. I don't really invest much time in people that never gotten back to me. But I
Exactly.
understand if you are, or they post something new, and I, for whatever reason, I noticed that. I also might comment on that particular post and send them a message.
Mm,
Say, "I really like your post on
yeah,
X."
awesome.
Yeah.
So, so
Yeah.
I see like this back and forth, right? About like reactions, like celebrating posts. They only celebrate and react to your post, like your post, and it's so easy to blindly go down the feed without reading stuff and just like react to
Yeah.
anything, right? But some creators use that as an in to the DMs and start
Mm,
conversations. Like,
mhm,
um, uh,
mm.
and then what? Like some instances, what's happened to people is that they say, "Hey, I appreciate you celebrating my post. Why did you do it?" And then like, I don't know what you're talking about, right? So it's kind of like a particular scenario. So what is your opinion about people like liking and reacting, just reacting to your post? Do you think um, it carries weight there, or
Yeah, that's a really good question. I typically don't reach out to people that only like my posts, and I assume because there's a lot of people that like usually likers and commenters, unless there's a pretty kind of like clear signal that they might be interested in what I have to sell. I don't typically reach out to them. So what I do is, if let's say they like my post and I think there will be a great fit for my services, what I might do instead of simply saying, "Hey, thank you so much for liking my profile, liking my post. Was there something about it that resonated with you?" I would probably, "Hey, thank you so much for liking my post. And by the way, I saw your post. I like it, or I saw that you are
mm,
working."
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
with coaches or with
yeah,
this, how are things going? Or I
yeah,
kind of like transition from the attention. Maybe I might mention that they like my post because kind of like, because sometimes
yeah,
people forget, right? Sometimes
exactly.
people forget. Yeah, like
That's
you
right.
want to say, "Hey, by the way, you know me," but I shift the focus on them. Like I say,
Yeah,
"Hey, I really like your post," or "I saw that you went from working for a big company to a smaller one. Just very curious to know what was the difference in the sales process that you noticed. Maybe they're in the sales space.
yeah. The
Something
the
like that."
the only reason why I did this because I usually like a post, but if it really I read the post, I like it, but if it really moves me to comment on it, I comment on it. Um, but I've been getting these influx of people say, "Hey, thank you for liking my post. What really resonated about it?" I'm like, I don't know, man. I
Yeah,
forget. Like, in your way is definitely more logical for sure.
yeah.
So let's talk about conversion for a couple of moments, and then we'll get into you breaking down every gift that you're giving, and you can explain a little bit about it. Um, so when it comes to conversion, like we're talking about, um, like bottom funnel, right? BOF. What are your tips and tricks uh, and suggestions for those kind of prospects that you know that are going to go down your funnel and be a sale, but they need a little extra nudge?
Mm. As in, for example, can you give me a like a
Sure.
scenario?
Sure. So, like, let's say if we're talking, or let's say if I'm talking to a person, and we have a book call arrangement, and they seem very interested, but maybe they don't show up, or maybe maybe you book a call, the call went good, but then um, and you qualify them and they're pre-qualified, and then you just need that little extra nudge maybe on the sales call, you know,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. Okay,
to
maybe I understand
to
what you're saying.
yeah,
For me, so I that's a really good question. I try to avoid with at whatever cost getting to that point where
yeah,
like they get on the call and they don't really know who I am and what I do.
yeah, exactly.
And that it's happened actually to me. Has happened to me yesterday. It was like somebody that showed up and they kind of just like wanted to explore. It doesn't really happen to me very often. I think would like was months. Didn't happen for me for months, and that happened to me yesterday. So somebody that kind of like just wanted to explore it and like, hey, tell me how can you help my company? That doesn't you shouldn't get there. Like that's
Hmm.
something that you should avoid at all costs. So what I do to make sure that happens, especially when you outreach, I send them resources before our call. Say, hey,
Wow,
by the way, this is
good
something
tip.
that you can look at, and between the so I kind of like decrease the likelihood they get on a call with me and they don't know who I am or how I can help them, right? And
Yeah.
also before so I have my sales process. It's in terms of call. It consists of two steps. So a short call and a longer call. Between the short call and the long call, I send them testimonials. I have like video testimonials of my clients, and I
Hmm.
send them by email. Hey, by the way, these are case studies. You know, have a look at them. And
Awesome.
people tend to be pretty informed nowadays when they hop on a call with me.
That's good.
I yeah, I had a couple this week. They were not, but like really that didn't happen to me in like for at least like 3 or 4. I can't remember last time it happened.
Wow.
It
So
was a
some extreme value there, man. Really, really good. So, I have the elegant guide ready to copy paste into the
yeah,
chat. So, can you
yeah,
tell us a little bit about that and how it helped your clients and with what results people are getting, and
yeah,
yeah, basically how it's impacting
yeah,
your
absolutely.
clients. Hmm.
So that's the guide is basically the framework of my process. So
Hmm.
you can find some templates there and really the steps for appointment setting and my whole philosophy. If you want to read it, it's also there. But I also have you can see, so I like to always give my first lead magnet ungated, meaning that people don't need to give me their email address to look at it. But
Yep.
inside of it, there are call to actions to my community. And I think the big value is there where you basically can get all of my trainings. I have people that close like four figures deals in a matter of like days or months just by joining my free community because I have training on profile optimization, lead gen, content, closing clients on the phone. It's something that I could easily sell for like 100, 200, or even $400 easily.
Awesome. So
And so
so
usually
that's the school
that's in
one.
school. Yeah,
Okay.
that's in school.
So, um, so guys, so the elegant framework is in the chat right now. You can join Steph's, and also I'm going to copy paste the community that he has. It's really good stuff, and I'm just going to copy paste that
I
right
also saw a
now.
very interesting. It's not really a question, but it's a comment from Gracie.
Oh
I
yeah,
will get back to it, but let me finish. Let me answer your question first.
sure.
Um, so what I was saying is, yeah. So basically, what I the result that my clients get, I have. So let's say probably let's call it 40% of people that are really starting from scratch within
Mhm.
my clientele, and 60% of people who are just want to scale, right? And people that start from scratch, I typically, I don't know, for example, I might work with somebody that has been selling their time for like $10 an hour. And
Mm,
I bring them from there to selling high ticket products in a matter of 30, 60 days. Typically, that's kind of like 60 days. It's kind of like a good time frame for most people. It's like a realistic time frame for most people in terms of like closing your first call, your first prospect. Or I work with people that want to scale. I had Trevor, one of my clients, who went from 17K to 63 in 30 days. Like we
wow,
created a new
amazing,
offer,
man.
we optimize the sales process. Yeah, I have a lot of I have Ruben, somebody else that started from scratch, is now selling consulting packages for like 4 or 5K every month,
Mm,
which is fantastic. I would
yeah,
love to get back to Gracie.
yeah.
So there is something about that, Gracie, that I would like to say. So sometimes when people don't have, I know this is like for me it was super annoying to hear because like I was asking on forums or like communities, hey, I have people that tell me they don't have budget to invest, right? Is it, what can I do? And there was a lot of people say, hey, Steph, you probably haven't, what was the term that they often use? You haven't shown them the value of your services, which today I kind of agree in a way, but sometimes it's true. Like it might be us as a vendor, as a seller that are not showing the value of what we have to sell.
Mhm.
But some other times might be we don't have enough authority or really skills and knowledge to really sell high ticket packages,
Yeah.
right? Like I used to. So in January 2023, I had 23 sales calls. I closed zero of them, and I was selling a 6K package, right? But I backed it, like going back, and everybody's like, "Hey, probably you haven't shown the value of your product," and I agree. I probably didn't, but I also didn't have the authority to sell a consulting package. I might, I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't have, it was a combination of skills and authority. So
Mhm.
then the next month, I moved to I had a lower package for like 1K, but was for cohort based. So per hour, I was making more money.
Mhm.
So in per hour worked in terms of delivery, I was making more money rather than working with one client like high ticket stuff. Um, but I don't see, don't see. I never see, how can I say, if you see sales like when people get to you, I don't want to call you out, but that's a really big mindset shift that should happen when you master sales. Like I never, how can I say, never put the responsibility of not closing a sale to my client or to my prospects because I never made, because if you do that, you kind of like don't give yourself room to improve. You're like, hey, why people that don't have money come? So, and
Yeah.
my question would be, why would
100%.
did they get on a call with you in the first place, or what can you improve to make sure that you are converting them next time,
Exactly.
or
Exactly.
so that's how you can really improve in sales. You look, it's easy to take things personal. I still do, and I like whenever I catch myself doing it, I was like, Steph, just fuck, let it go. Like, like, you convert
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
else from
Exactly.
tomorrow
Exactly.
or 2 days. Um,
Exactly.
yeah,
Man,
that's why I also have two
mhm.
sales calls to really. The last question that I ask is like, hey, do you have budget to invest
Yeah.
on the short term?
Awesome.
So I make sure
Awesome.
that I don't waste their time. They don't waste my time because I know that's frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. And I really liked how you said like build authority in your niche. And so, uh, like, what is like a person who's struggling in building authority
Mm.
in their niche and becoming like positioning what just quickly what tips do you have for them?
Yeah, yeah, that's a really great point. So first of all, keep posting, keep being active on LinkedIn. That's like the core of it. And then the next thing I would probably say, keep working on your content, keep like fine tuning it, keep honing it. Because like what you want to avoid is like posting a lot of content. I know people that they've been posting for like a year or 6 months and they haven't gotten any lead yet. Probably the problem is in your content. It's like how you format it, how you convey your not your the information, your how you share your knowledge, and probably might even be like the things that you're talking about might not be interesting for other people.
Mm,
um,
yeah.
so you really have to take a good look inside and say, hey, how can I really like make it format my content or shape my content in a way that actually resonates with people. And one of the most valuable lessons that I learned lately, and from my one of my clients slash good friends, Bea Vladut, who's another big content creator on LinkedIn,
Mm,
she really got me to understand how important is entertainment with content creation. Because if you only do, I used to do educational content only, and now since the algorithm has changed, I'm noticing a big trend. So everybody who does entertainment plus education, so what you call edutainment content, has a has more success on LinkedIn
Okay.
versus people that only do education. Like the
Mhm.
algorithm is really rewarding entertainment right now,
Yeah.
and that's something that you want to take into account.
100%.
You want to make your the information that you share as digestible as possible to your audience.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Steph. So Steph has another gift. He has a very busy schedule in January, and he would like to give you a gift of a clarity call too. So if anyone wants a clarity call with Steph, I will copy paste his clarity call right there. So what can they expect on the clarity call there with you, Steph?
Oh, just to um, so what I do, there's a little questionnaire that you have to fill, and then to just like I we start to see if there is a fit.
Hmm.
Is
Yeah.
there's a fit between me and and you, and potentially like a a strategy on how to grow your business on LinkedIn.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Steph, for your time. I really appreciate it. So, uh, I usually like to ask this go-to question. So let's say um, go back maybe a couple of years, or maybe go back a year or two when you were just trying to figure stuff out. What would you tell yourself now? What
A
is
year
like
ago,
the most important thing?
yeah, the most important thing is, I guess, one of the biggest advice that I could give myself is uh, probably keep like stay the course and keep doing what you're doing without freaking out. Because like with lead gen, right now it's a lot more consistent, right? I tend to get 1 to 2 new clients a week. That's like pretty
Mhm.
consistent right now. But for some periods, it wasn't, right? So I will get maybe 2 clients 1 week, and then I wouldn't get any clients for like 3 weeks. And I would just like freak out. Um, and then I might even I might have stopped doing cold outreach as well. But keep like if you have a system, like keep reaching out to 10 people a day, keep posting your content, and like in a year you'll be in a position that you cannot probably even imagine today. It's
Mhm.
like you'll be so far away from where you are today that it's
Mhm.
not even funny. So right now I'm in a position where I'm basically running my business part time.
Mhm.
I'm taking on new projects that are still related to my business
Awesome.
to because I simply need, you know, to feel that I'm growing, that excitement,
Yeah,
that I'm
exactly.
learning new
Exactly.
stuff,
You you
probably moving
you
back to the
you
south
you,
space.
you can't spend all your time walking in Okinawa, right? Just wandering
Yeah,
around. So
yeah,
actually,
yeah,
we had a question, another question.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
says it's specifically about commenting. It doesn't show up. It says,
Okay.
what about engaging and pulling potential strangers from the comments to the DMs? Do you have any? Um,
Comments to the DMs. How
yeah,
you can
uh,
transition there?
yeah.
Is that your question? Yeah,
Like let's say if you comment on another person's post and
yeah.
their audience goes to DMs, or maybe they comment on your post and you want to address, like you want to go into DMs because they commented on your post.
Oh, they commented on your post.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good question. So I don't see it as a so if somebody it depends on the nature of the comment, right? That sometimes it's very clear that people just want to increase their reach by
Yeah.
commenting on your stuff. But if I only reach out to them if it's like either they're like showing they have a problem. Like, hi Steph, how do you fix this? How do you deal with this? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It depends on who they are.
Hmm.
But if they're showing a clear problem, feel free to reach out to them and start a conversation. Just start a conversation. Maybe they said, "Hey, Steph, how do you deal with, you know, uh, with maybe finding the right people on LinkedIn to write to, or how do you find active people on LinkedIn?" Hey, I might reach out with a DM and say, "Hey, thank you so much for the comment on my post. I saw that you were asking me about how I reach out um, to leads, or how do I find active people on LinkedIn. What are you currently doing to
Yep.
find new leads?"
Yep.
Basically, and start a
Awesome.
conversation.
Very simple way approach. Steph, it's been almost an hour, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And really, I think everybody appreciates this right now. There is going to be a replay for those who want to replay and don't want to scroll down my feed looking for the replay again. Just hit me, Steph, or Mark up, and we'll be sending that replay to you. I have it recorded on YouTube, so please reach out for the replay, play it back and over and over and over again to really um, get significant movement on LinkedIn. And once again, thank you very much, Steph. I
Thank
wish
you.
you the best for 2024. And
Um,
yeah, just have a great morning in Okinawa. And by the way, Steph got up at 6 a.m.
Yeah,
to for
yeah,
this live.
5:30. That's what I'm
At
usually
five
wake up.
thirty,
Yeah,
at five
yeah,
thirty for this live. So
yeah.
please hit him up. Please go to his DMs. Please thank him for this. Please say thank you for waking up at 5:30 a.m. And don't worry, Steph doesn't bite only on weekends, maybe. But thank you so much, Steph, and we
Thank
will see you
you.
later, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much.